What is going on, YouTube? It is your boy Danny G TV in the house. The Warriors got Game 5 against the Dallas Mavericks in the Western Conference Finals tonight, looking to close out the series at home at Chase Center in San Francisco. But the Warriors, of course, lost Game 4 when they went for the sweep in Dallas. But they lose 119 to 109, and a game that was mostly a blowout by the Mavericks. But that's not even the main importance of this video. The main importance of this video is, well, about what Steve Kerr had to say before the game, because 400 miles from where the Dallas Mavericks play in Uvalde, Texas, a crazed 18-year-old went to an elementary school and just killed a bunch of kids and 2 teachers. 21 people died in total. 19 kids, 21 teachers, and that's only a week and a half after in Buffalo another crazy 18-year-old drove like 300 miles up to Buffalo from some other town in upstate New York, and then just goes into a supermarket in a predominantly black neighborhood. And specifically, because I unfortunately accidentally saw his Twitch, or an archive of his Twitch stream, so unfortunately I know for a fact he went to specifically kill black people because he's a white supremacist, and I believe 11 out of the 13 that he killed were black. So just horrible hate crime. I've never actually, you see people using examples of white supremacy sometimes when it's not really there. That definitely was a real example of one that was disgusting. And then, of course, again in Texas, a bunch of kids and 2 teachers getting shot. Just awful, just totally horrible. And so, of course, Steve Kerr had a powerful message before the Warriors-Mavericks game, which I will play at the end of this video. But I just want to address kind of like where we are as a country as a whole, because I'll take you guys back to almost 10 years ago, about 9 years and a few months ago, 9 years, almost 9.5 years ago, December of 2012. And when I first bring up that month and that year, you guys might remember the people thought the world was going to end also in that month. But about 10 days before that was supposed to happen, or like a little bit over a week, whatever, those before that was supposedly supposed to happen. No one really thought it was, but beside the point. Because it felt like the world did end instead of on 12/21/12, on 12/14/12, as that's the first school shooting I've ever experienced in my life, because I was only 2 when the Columbine one happened. Crazy, like 20-year-old or something, just in Newtown, Connecticut, just goes into an elementary school and kills a bunch of kids and a bunch of teachers, whatever. Just awful, just absolutely terrible. But I was a freshman in high school. I was 15 and I was a freshman at Cactus Shadows in high school back then. And I remember right after that, like at the beginning of the first semester of my freshman year, up until that happened in December, like the whole first semester, you were able to just walk into any classroom you want. Like if you had to go to the bathroom and you went back, you'd have to knock on the door to get back in. And ever since then, that changed. You always had to knock on a classroom door for if you were to go in for whatever reason. You would always have to knock, and which provided, I guess, a little bit of a sense of security, but it never really mattered because no one really looked at who was even there anyway. But the point is, a bunch of things were put in place, some measures to at least prevent the next one from happening, which you could never guarantee, but you could at least do something about it. And I was freaked out a little bit, going to public school then, that could happen, although as low as the chances might be. And since then I've seen a ton of school shootings happen after that, and a ton of shootings in general. I remember heck in July of that year, about like half of a year before that, in Colorado, in Aurora, Colorado, a crazy gunman just went into the premiere of Batman: The Dark Knight Rises and just dresses like the Joker or something and just killed a bunch of people there, and so you heard about shootings and like those happened, and you always have the same debate, about the gun control and all that. But my question is, how come we as a society just cannot just, no matter what side you're on, if you're on the left or the right, why can't we just agree to compromise and come up with a solution that everyone would agree with? Because there's just so many solutions that everyone can agree with. And like Steve Kerr says, a lot of senators just don't want to even put it to a vote to just have universal background checks. And a lot of people, on the right are like, oh, they're trying to take away my guns. No one's trying to take away your guns. No one is. If you're a responsible gun owner, then you have nothing to worry about. Absolutely. I think everyone should have the right to apply for gun ownership if you're at least 21. And I'm not just saying that because the last few shootings have involved an 18-year-old, but the fact that you have to be 21 to buy alcohol or buy weed, but you can be 18 and just get a gun at a gun show is just ridiculous. It should be hard to get a gun. It shouldn't be impossible to get a gun, but it should be hard to get a gun without having a background check. And if you want one legally, just go through a background check and go through a bunch of testing, just like the same amount of testing as it would take you to get a driver's license to operate a motor vehicle. Why do we not have to at least go through of a somewhat challenging, probably wouldn't even be that challenging, and it wouldn't be completely fail safe. Like, shootings unfortunately will still happen, but you could at least do something about it and prevent it from happening, so it's far less likely to happen in the future. And there's a difference between, an AR-15 and a handgun and all that. Like, everyone should have the right to have like a handgun, or at least apply for gun ownership if they want to. And I personally don't feel the need to own any guns. Not really my thing. Now, would I maybe feel protected if I was in like a Walmart during a mass shooting and there was a good guy with a gun that I knew was good? Yes, of course I would. But the chances of that actually working are just far and slim because, well, first off, no one's going to even know who the bad guy is. So if there's a bunch of people with guns and there's a mass shooter, it's just going to cause a bunch of chaos. But I mean, it's better than nothing. But so anyway, beside the point, why can't we just have universal background checks? Why can't we have it be difficult to get a gun if you're a criminal or if you're mentally ill? Because if you're mentally ill and you go through an intense screening and all that, then you likely will be declined your gun ownership, and that'll prevent mass shootings and that'll make it less likely for mass shootings to happen. It won't prevent them completely, but it'll make it a lot less likely for them to happen. So anyway, I just wanted to touch on that real quick. Hopefully the Warriors can get it done tonight. But I just want to talk about that serious topic because we as a country, no matter if you're on the left or on the right, we need to stop fighting with ourselves. We need to just come together and come up with a solution and a compromise so that we can both make it less likely for anything like this to happen again. Now, that's all I got. Take it away, Steve.
I'm not going to talk about basketball. Nothing's happened with our team in the last 6 hours. We're going to start the same way tonight. Any basketball questions don't matter. Since we left shoot-around, 14 children were killed 400 miles from here, and a teacher. And in the last 10 days, we've had elderly black people killed in a supermarket in Buffalo. We've had Asian churchgoers killed in Southern California, and now we have children murdered at school. When are we going to do something? I'm tired. I'm so tired of getting up here and offering condolences to the devastated families that are out there. I'm so tired of I'm tired of the moments of silence. Enough. There's 50 senators right now who refuse to vote on H.R. 8, which is a background check rule that the House passed a couple of years ago. It's been sitting there for 2 years. And there's a reason they won't vote on it, to hold on to power. So I ask you, Mitch McConnell, I ask all of you senators who refuse to do anything about the violence and school shootings and supermarket shootings, I ask you, are you going to put your own desire for power ahead of the lives of our children and our elderly and our churchgoers? Because that's what it looks like. It's what we do every week. So I'm fed up. I've had enough. We're going to play the game tonight, but I want every person here, every person listening to this to think about your own child or grandchild or mother or father or sister, brother. How would you feel if this happened to you today? We can't get numb to this. We can't sit here and just read about it and go, well, let's have a moment of silence. Yeah, go Dubs, you know. Come on, Mavs, let's go. That's what we're going to do. We're going to go play a basketball game. And 50 senators in Washington are going to hold us hostage. Do you realize that 90% of Americans, regardless of political party, want background check, universal background check? 90% of us, we are being held hostage by 50 senators in Washington who refuse to even put it to a vote, despite what we, the American people, want. They won't vote on it because they want to hold on to their own power. It's pathetic. I've had enough.